Okay, thank you. So what we see in the teaching of this morning, earlier on, we explained about how magnesium is connected to the muscle tissue, neurosystem. And then you understand how using a magnesium salt here, we see the connection and the split. But what is interesting, as you will see in a minute, how the calcium salt shows itself. Sorry, the sodium salt will show itself in respect to the same amino acid. And then what you see, go back to the structure of the 3 layers of the skin of the man, why it's so hard, and how the salt content between the layers decide how your skin looks. You look at this, this is the picture of the same amino acid, but this time instead of magnesium salt is in the sodium salt. You see the clustering, you see the hardening of the shell. This is, now if you see this here, it's the same in another figure of it. Then we understand how amino acid in a structure shows itself and creates the skin of the man. So when you're dealing with skin problems, you need amino acid which is made in the sodium chloride. Then you get a better response. You have a more interactive because it's of the same environment, amino acid. When you come to the muscle tissue and the division, you use magnesium salt when you're making your copper oxide. These are the processes which we have to learn. When you come to create the CO2, which you want to use for, let's say, the connection with the emotional part, you use the magnesium in connection with the copper. Use magnesium salt, not the NaCl salt, the sodium chloride. These are the, as we said, we go into more depth of understanding. This is important because when you become man of space, the hardness of this skin, decision of what is going to be, is the barrier between the structure of the man, the soul of the man, and the environment you are in. So one of the key points is, now that we enter the space technology as part of our physicality, and what we see now scientifically shown, presented, you see the difference between the structure of the amino acid, which is to do with the tissue of the physicality, which is the copper, and then you see with the surrounding environment, which is the skin of the man, with sodium. Here you have the magnesium. Here you have, and you see it, the crusting, the way it has changed. And it's the repeat of second time. You see the same thing. So we know, we understand in deep space, we have to create an energy that in respect to our environmental condition, strength, and the salt within the structure of the environment, which our soul and emotion interacts on the surface of the earth, it becomes hard. And with these pictures, we even now, as I said before, understand why we have salt layers within the 3 layers of the skin of the man, and why when some companies, which are like a Belgian company specialized in the salt level content of the 3 layers of the skin of the man, by changing the salt content, they change the skin, the softness of the skin, the solidity and rigidity of the skin, and all sorts of things which is to do with the skin. By just understanding a physical picture like this, that a gas of amino acid, which is the body of you within salt, how harder and softer it becomes. This is very interesting to see why, for example, what we saw with Richard, showing with his skin, the color of the change of the skin, why it worked. Most probably he used a calcium with, he used a protein with an amino acid condition, which that's what is given to him. So he's interacting at the level of the salt because he created the GANs with the salt of NaCl. Very interesting, if you understand the extension of this knowledge, is what happened if we go to calcium salt. How would a calcium salt of CO2 will show itself? Then would we see the shape and the structure of the bone of the man? Would we see, for example, as it could be a plasma with porosities? Now, if you go back to the understanding of this morning teaching, you understand how the matters in respect to the salt and the protein lead to different structure part of the body of the man. If there was no sodium chloride, or what we call the normal salt we eat, there wouldn't be in the skin hardness that it creates containment. Without magnesium, which is connected to the physicality, as we said, like when you get a cramp, you will not come to have the physical structure of the muscle tissue. And in all this, there is emotional connection to the zinc oxide.